All right, guys. Call the city council meeting for 2025. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Scott.
Here.
Councilmember Milner.
Present.
Councilmember Underwood.
Here.
Mayor Exley.
Here.
Councilmember Blackwell. Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Councilmember Riley.
Here.
And just remain standing for our pledge.
Lord God, as we enter this holy week, dear Lord, we just ask that we be mindful of what this week means to the people of our faith. And dear Lord, I just ask if you would be with this gathering of people here tonight, this community. Dear Lord, I ask that you give us wisdom and insight. Dear Lord, and I just ask if you would to let everything we say and do here glorify and honor you. For it's in your most glorious name we pray. Amen.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Bless you. Thank you. All right, guys, there's a motion in order to approve tonight's agenda.
The changes. Mr. Blackwell, did you have,
No, that was for the meetings of last week.
I got a motion by Ms. Taylor, I got a second by Mr. Scott, all in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. And then also motions in order to approve the minutes from March 24th. Does anybody have anything?
I had a correction on item 5 of the agenda last council meeting on March the 24th. The person making the motion was incorrect in our minutes. And I noted them to Docia for correction, and the second was also wrong. So let me find it and I can tell you what they were. They had Michelle Taylor, but it's actually Mona Underwood, and second was Levi Scott still. So she has those and make those corrections. So I'll make a motion to approve March 24th minutes with corrections.
Second.
All right, I got a motion by Mr. Blackwell, a second by Ms. Taylor, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Tonight, public comments will pertain to only agenda items. Should you wish to appear before council, paperwork can be found at Rankin City Hall to do that. Into the consent agenda, and there's a motion in order to approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Riley, I got a second by Ms. Underwood. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. New business item number 1, Destiny Bradshaw with the Rankin Noon Lions Club request to appear before council. Ms. Bradshaw? Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
This is Amber Fordham, also with the Raymond and the 2 rivers. So we were coming before you all. We wanted to discuss and try to get ahead of the game and discuss the Christmas parade for this year. One of the things we wanted to look at was involving the bands. We haven't had the bands, both high schools, present. You know, when you want kids to come out, you want the community to come out. In the school system, we were riding on the school bus, but had no kids.
Right.
You know, and so we spoke with both band directors, and we thought it would be great, you know, how you all have that great event for the community, and we were working together to kind of have the parade and usher into that,
Correct.
you know, to have the bands.
Correct.
So for them, the date, now, they gave the 5th, which is a Friday. December 5th. They said that was their top day, and to have the students for an evening parade. I know there are all kind of things that I know with you know, that you may have questions or concerns about it. I don't know if, you know, with having an evening parade, one of the,
An evening parade, lighted floats for Christmas. Springfield has that. They do? Yes.
and he did, you know, express the
Terry,
concerns.
what's the tree lighting for the city? Y'all know? Hasn't been set?
I don't think it's been set yet.
Yeah, that's right. Because we done, Friday or, wasn't it the Friday or Saturday after the Thanksgiving? It was definitely on Saturday because we were,
And we weren't able to get the students anytime around that. They have their competitions, they're out, and the superintendent said we will not for having them go out when it's their holiday. We want them to have their break.
Right.
So in speaking with them, they said that following week, full school support. You have the kids, you have everybody. One of the band directors is connected with Compassion Christian. He said possibly if it is at night, maybe looking starting there, that shortens the route when you look at safety to instead of starting at school, you know, to start there.
I think, and.
I mean, I don't-
Rachel, I think that we adjusted too much. We didn't have them last year and I just hate to, I mean, I want them here. But I mean, I feel like that the school's got to give a little bit too. And I will tell you
We
this.
always did these on a Saturday, right?
Yeah, they were never done any other
And I
time.
was a band kid. We were in every parade on a Saturday.
And is football?
The chief did bring up the Saturday after that, maybe the Saturday, the 6th in the
Second, fourth Thanksgiving weekend.
yeah, that we won't have them, but we can mention to them the 6th, maybe the 6th in the morning.
That would be a good time to look at it. But, you know, the biggest thing that we have to think about, and just so, you know, everybody knows, you know, the people that we've already sent stuff out that said that they would be back next year, they're on that fine little time schedule too, like the Shriners. So there's one of those days where, after that weekend, they have 3 or 4 different things that they have already planned.
Danny, and he is in the Lions now.
Yes.
Danny Reed Jr.
Yes,
And he did say if it was the following, they have like the event at night,
Yeah.
you know, but if it's the day and nothing, the calendar's clear.
right. So they would be good for the Saturday.
So the 6th.
Would be the sixth, would be the day. That-
If, you know, we can run it by
The
the school.
Saturday parade, if the chief thinks it's a safety issue.
And a full parade.
Full parade.
Yeah, starting at school.
At the
and then
school.
up-
And I don't know that the week would really change anything on the tree lighting. I think we still gonna get the same turnout that we had
Yeah.
before.
And the other thing is kids are in school that day, so parents coming home, that's a work day, kids are in school.
Yes. December 5th.
That's what I thought.
Could be the night-
Or which
so
is,
it'd be the night- so that would
We
be.
did last year.
that's what we did.
Okay.
It still works. It still works.
That is absolutely what we did. We did the tree lighting the Friday the night before, and the next day was the parade.
Perfect.
I think that was just like right at Thanks.
It was right after the
Mhm.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So we had Thanksgiving, the tree lighting, the parade.
So the bands are okay on December the 6th.
I'll go back and email them and confirm and see if they can.
I mean, you'd think they'd be excited to be in it, but maybe not.
Yeah. I know there, and I don't know if it was like tournaments and their competitions and different things. And then they did say, well, what if if Guyton, or I think it's Springfield that has theirs that night, they were like with the cities, is that a big thing? And I don't know. Is it to have?
It's very
two-
small.
Okay.
It's very small. I went last year. And
So it's not like if people participate in that one, they won't. I think maybe people could have their floats and say maybe if they want to do both. Save some time, it's like you're already prepared for the same day.
Yeah.
Well, see what you can find out.
December the 6th.
So-
We'll bring it back to, and
Just
let
bring
you
it
all
back.
know.
So we'll table it.
Do that one.
It would be just like we knew. Yep.
Lots of candy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Run out before you get to the.
People looking at you.
Every holiday.
Kids are so cute. You see them standing there and you just want to give them a hand.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You come back,
That's right. Yeah.
So we need a motion to table.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
make a
So
motion to table.
got a motion to table by Ms. Underwood. I got a second by Mr. Scott. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. New business number 2, Live Oak Public Library request approval to place a temporary story walk in Veterans Park. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Betsy McCullough. I'm Director of Communications and Strategic Partnerships at Live Oak Public Libraries, and I bring with me Catherine Driggers, who's our branch manager at the Lincoln Library, and Jamie Bouchard, who's our terrific youth services librarian, and I also have our board member, Becky Long, in the back in support. We do, as you know, a summer reading challenge every year. It's extremely popular, and this is a special request. I'm going to hand it over to Kathy to give you more information. But if I might, I wanted to also, for avoidance of doubt, to make sure you have an invitation. It is your sister city, but we are going to be having a ready-to-read center party and 1,000 books before kindergarten graduation for the Effingham County graduates of the 1,000 books before graduation program. And we are introducing into first at Springfield and then eventually at the Lincoln Library ready-to-read centers, which are dedicated spaces for literacy training from 0 to 5, especially using all of the training we've been learning. So because we don't want you to miss it and there's cupcakes and crowns involved, I wanted to leave this with whomever is the right person to make sure you're up. We're having sort of a media event. I wanted to make sure you were there. Oh, hey. Okay, take it away.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for letting us come before you. Is it okay if Ms. Jamie gives you these?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we want to do is this year is going to be, our summer reading challenge happens every year from June 1st to July 31st. And we always have a huge kickoff party to celebrate it starting. And this year is Lincoln's 20th year of having a kickoff party. We had an old librarian that's the one that actually started this for the system. And so we wanted to do some special things this year. Last year we had over 500 people attend our kickoff party. And so what we're asking tonight is to be able to place a story walk in your beautiful new park. And what a story walk is, in case you're not aware, is it is a fun way to host outdoor programming and engage your local community. It's a family activity that combines literacy, exercise, and nature. And what this story walk has is it's 16 to 22 panels. The front is actually from the book. They take the book and make panels. And then the back of it is, in case like people go the back way through it, it encourages movement and fun as you're walking back through it. And it sits up on these little H frames. This is coming from Georgia Public Library Service. This is the actual book that we give y'all that the story walk is based on, and it's the cutest little thing. We got it in to look through it to make sure we'd like it. We requested it from Georgia Public Library Service. The story walk would go up that morning. We would place them early. We'd have our kickoff party, which lasts for 2 hours, and then once we get the chaos down a little bit, we'll pull it down the same day. So it will only be up there for 1 day. And what we have is we will place, like people will walk on the sidewalks, and this would be in the grass along the way so they could read their book as they're going. With the park being open this year and it's so pretty and laid out and everything, and us having that many people are going to wander through your park anyway during this event. So we wanted to add something fun and all for them to do and for them to spend some time in the park. So that is what we're requesting, is permission to be able to place this for 1 day. It will be on June the 7th. And the kickoff party goes from 10 until 12. We'll be out there like about 8 a.m. putting this down. And then we, as you know, the library closes at 2, so it will be down before 2 o'clock. And with it being this little, it looks kind of like, for sale signs or campaign signs, and, so it won't be anything damaging or anything to the park. Last year we had about 500 people come, and we had everything set up in the parking lot. We have, the police department brings vehicles over, the fire department brings vehicles for Touch a Truck. The Savannah Ghost Pirates has agreed to bring their slap truck cage back out again with Davey. Chick-fil-A brings the cow out, and, those two mascots stay as long as they can in the heat, because it's hot. We have crafts, we have games. United Way comes and gives away free books. We have a snack for them. It's like a carnival party atmosphere.
That's in the parking lot.
It's in our parking lot. Yeah,
And then people park over here.
they do park over there. We've already gotten permission for that ahead of time. We do that every year. And we make sure that we have permission before we use it.
The principal part of it is that it allows us a captive audience to sign folks up for the reading challenge, which is 10 hours of reading. The prizes are really good for the adults as well. So this gives us an opportunity to sign up the whole.
So that's what you're.
That is the purpose. And then throughout the rest of the 2 months, we'll be working on getting folks completing those 10 hours.
And it's just to keep the kids reading during the summer because, all the kids are like, school's out, yay. And it's to keep them going. We have programming all during the summer. We have performers come out. We have crafts and STEM and Lego and story times. It's super busy the whole summer. And then in August, we all rest when the kids go back to school.
My daughter did the summer reading program, and my son especially, he won all kind of prizes, and he was my reader, so I love it.
And underestimate a prize. The other just really cool thing to share with you, Mayor, is that the Effingham Public School System is going to allow us to do some of our larger programs at the Rincon Elementary School, because last year you had over 100 attendees at some of your programs, and that's just too many people for your library. So we're really excited because it's going to allow us to turn way more people to come in to use, and again, bring them back to reinforce that they're reading throughout the summer.
I guess too.
It's in front of you, because there for a while, you probably couldn't have stuck those in the ground without hitting the pine tree. So thankful for this council for, putting that park together and doing what they've done there, because I think it's beautiful in our city.
Tables out there for this feeding programs, because a lot of times they serve food to children there, right? The summer food program.
We have in the past, we haven't been able to couldn't last year because the USDA had some guidelines and rules that we couldn't meet because we don't have the space inside the building. For instance, if it storms, the children weren't allowed to take the meals with them. And obviously, we're not going to expect people to sit outside and eat in the rain. So there's some things that we can't do. Springfield still does the program. And we do have a lot of people. We know that there's a lot of people. I've seen people stop and come and eat their lunch over there, or they'll leave from story times and they'll sit over there and eat lunch with their kids. So
My coworkers will go.
All right, that's good. Good.
So there's not a summer food program for children in Rincon, right?
No, ma'am. Well, at Springfield, there is not Rincon. And that's also part under my umbrella. That's right, the YMCA
is doing it.
And we would love to do it at Rincon, but the waivers, there's no waiver for rain, which we know is unpredictable. We just don't have, we are uncomfortable with the idea of feeding children outside with the possibility of rain and no shelter on top of them. So for us, we just can't do it until we have a permanent structure that can allow people to, participate inside safely. There's a heat waiver, but there's no rain waiver. And that's just not okay for
And I
us.
would think that small tent would be.
we tried to. Last year, it blew away. Yeah. Now, this is a new year. We work with America's Second Harvest, and they try really hard every year to get these waivers. So they might be able to get the waiver from the USDA this year. We won't know till closer to time. But as of this moment, they haven't been able to get the waiver from the USDA. And so that's, above what we can.
Because we have other facilities in Rincon that would be available.
If I would be happy to put somebody in touch with Second Harvest. We have a great relationship with them, and they certainly would love to find another place And we're happy to facilitate that.
So I know there's a lot of food insecure children in our community.
Indeed.
And there would be, you know, it would be separate from the park, but at least you could have the mealtime possibly, you know, at Macomber, we have a big rec department there that's
Huge building.
huge building.
It's a matter of them, getting people to serve.
Yeah,
Because when we do it, we serve the food.
right.
But because of, during COVID, they had the grab and go waivers. But since COVID, all the danger is over and it's not considered an emergency situation anymore, the USDA wouldn't approve them last year. We had people that would come from work at lunchtime, grab the meals, drop them to their kids that were at home and go back to work. But we tried really hard. Our contact with America's Second Harvest tried really hard to get the waivers, but the USDA wouldn't budge.
The issue with grab and go is that unfortunately, some people grab and go and give it to someone other than their child. So it's very highly regulated for very good reasons. And again, if it's something that you want to explore, I am happy to share our contact with them because it's not too late, I'm sure, to get something set up for summer. They begin June 1st.
I think
We have an
definitely want to explore it.
excellent representative for us back there, Becky Long. So if y'all wanna, Becky knows our community.
Yeah, I think it's a great jet.
I'll second it.
I do too. Second.
I got a motion by Mr. Scott, I got a second by Mr. Blackwell, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Can I ask one more question? And this doesn't have to be voted on.
I was about
You
to
got
say,
approval to use the park.
Thank you. During our summer reading program, we have everything going on outside, but we also have a story time that goes on inside. And so what we do is we've had like our regional youth librarian has done story time before. Last year we had,
Griffin from the county.
we can't say it, folks.
Yeah,
It's very,
it's a very long.
he was with code enforcement. He read for us last year. So this year, since it's our 20th anniversary, we're going to do celebrity readers. And we would like to offer to see if anybody from the council, if we could get a person that'd like to come and read. Okay. We'll get the information to you. It's just for a 30-minute session because we're breaking it down and basically you just end up reading twice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
we'll let you guys know.
Yes.
Business number 3, vote on a petition filed by Parallel Infrastructure CO Collective Solutions requesting conditional use variance to construct and maintain the 199-foot monopole style wireless telecommunications facility located at 777 Old Augusta Road South. Property is owned by Effingham County Industrial Development Authority and is zoned PUD.
We had a public hearing on this item at the last city council meeting. The petitioner's here.
Is this this first reading?
No, we had the first reading. This is the
What-
vote.
This is the vote.
There's actually only variances, there's just a public hearing and
Okay.
We had lots of questions. I did the follow-up email traffic answering those questions. And they did answer the questions that I had.
Mr. Scott, you got anything? You got anything more? Mr. Lyon?
Nope.
And Brandon, you had all your questions answered? Anybody else have anything? If not, there's a motion in order to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Blackwell, I got a second by Ms. Riley, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. New business number 4, vote on petition filed by Parallel Infrastructure CO Collective Solution requesting a variance from the setback requirements in the Rankin Code of Ordinance, Chapter 75, Telecommunications, specifically Section 75-36, located at 777 Old Augusta Road South. Property is owned by Effingham County Industrial Development Authority and is zoned PUD.
This falls in that same
That
category.
variance. Any questions on that, guys, up here? Any questions?
Second.
All right. I got a motion by Mr. Scott. I got a second by Ms. Riley. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New business number 5, vote on petition filed by Brad Blocker with Medlock Cold Storage Savannah LLC, requesting a variance to construct signage over the maximum square footage allowed per the city's ordinance. Specifically, they are proposing 121 square feet over the allowable square footage on the west side. That's 744 square feet each over the allowable square footage on the north and south facades located at 1300 Heritage Way. The property is owned by Medlock Cold Storage Savannah LLC and is zoned LN.
Yes, sir. This is the cold storage. I think we toured it about a month ago. Petitioner's here. Y'all have any questions for her, but this sits off the road. These signs, the variances, this is a big building, so don't let the variances confuse you. It looks normal when it's up on the buildings.
Just like Savon.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, well,
Anybody got anything else? Anybody else? All right, motion's in order.
motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Ms. Taylor, I got a second by Ms. Underwood, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. New business number 6.
Good news, Mr. Mayor. From an efficiency standpoint, I would recommend that council table items 6 and 7 until next meeting, which will help speed us along.
Motion's in order to table, number 6.
So moved.
And 7.
Well,
That can be one.
6 and 7.
so,
However you want to do it.
yeah,
Either way.
so we got a motion by Ms. Underwood, I got a second by Ms. Taylor, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And then motion's in order to table new business number 7.
So
Second.
Got a motion by Ms. Riley, I got a second by Mr. Blackwell, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. New business number 8, consideration to vote on the first reading of an ordinance by the mayor and city council for the city of Rankin amending the code of the city of Rankin at chapter 2, section 100.
Yes, sir, that one's me. And all it is saying your ordinances would take effect the day of their being passed, which would be the normal way. That's done. The way your ordinances read currently, and I forget the last overhaul, is unless your ordinance on a case-by-case basis says otherwise, it would take effect in 10 days, which I could just see problematic if you have emergency situations or something. So I was looking at another issue, but saw that and said, let's fix that while we're here. So that would be the practical effect of approving that ordinance.
So if we had like a special meeting or something, we call it change an ordinance to do something like that, it would take effect. Right. when we vote.
Right then and there, unless you said otherwise, but that's what I'm trying to avoid is that lag.
Yep.
Yes.
Any questions, Mr. Scott? Mr. Miller, you good? No, good? Anybody? Motion's in order.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, I got a motion by Ms. Underwood, I got a second by Mr. Blackwell, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. New business number 9 is consideration to vote on the first reading of an ordinance of the city of Rankin authorizing the Board of Elections and Registration of Effingham County to conduct the city of Rankin's municipal elections to occur during the 2025 election cycle, to provide for an effective date, to repeal all ordinances and resolutions and parts thereof in conflict herewith, and for other purposes.
Yes, sir. This is also your legal team left stick in the mud programming. You'll see this in your packet, the intergovernment agreement between us and the county for them to handle y'all's election. It's consistent with what you've had in the past, and it's for November elections. We had discussed and pushed for a June referendum option related to package store sales. The county agreed to it, and we both thought it might be allowed by the state, but the state came back and said, no, you need a statewide vacancy. And the current PSC elections do not count, even though we thought there was an argument they do. The practical effect is any referendum you may or may not want to have would have to be done in November, which we can prepare. The good news is the county said, look, we can add that to it without increasing your costs.
Okay, so they can add it to this November election.
Yes,
So
sir.
that, okay.
So you're really saving, there's really a savings of money there. But otherwise, this would just be a vote. It has to be in ordinance form because that's the way elections have to be done, is through ordinance approving a contract, but it's in your packet. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I have one.
Yes, sir.
So this would be, we wouldn't have to keep coming back to do this. This would be something that, once it's put into play, we don't have to do this annually.
Well, this would just be for the 2025 election. And so you would have to come back for the next election. Now, if we wanted to do something on a longer basis, we could talk about that.
Well, and that's one of the problems that I see. We're constantly getting into that next year and then you forget. And next thing you know, we're not having the election there. I would rather try to do something on a long term because right now there is nobody that can operate those machines anymore. That guy's since passed away and there's one other person and he's not ready to do it. So, I mean, it's, you know, we don't have anywhere to go.
Well, on the legal
I
side,
think we can, you know, right, and they may do 5 years or something.
That's what we need to do is look
Yeah.
at, and then that way when it comes up, Levi, then we can vote on it again, but have it so annually, by the time you do one, and then next thing around,
do it.
because I was up in arms, because I was thinking that we missed the June, you know, we didn't even miss the June, we just couldn't have it. But it was something that I was thinking, oh gosh, we done waited too late. And, but Dulcia was on that, and we did find out that wasn't, you know, that wasn't the case.
I think that we also determined, this council determined that it's absolutely crazy. Nobody's gonna go vote the general election in one building and then go to the Highly Center, which is run down, no parking, on a busy highway. They're just not gonna go vote. And so all of our elections need to be in one place. They need to be consistent. And wherever John Smith votes for one election, he should vote at for every election.
Exactly. Too much confusion.
That's what it called.
Yeah. And then people get pissed off because they go to this place and they were supposed to go here. You know,
Right.
it's just.
Well, and they don't go to the other place, because if I've already determined that I'm gonna have to stand in line, I'm not.
Well, I guess, so I think the staff knows that no more elections at Highly Center. Period.
And the way
We need to vote on that vote.
not the latter. I would stick with what you have on the
Let's stick
agenda.
with this and then.
And just the good news is you're ahead of the curve. It would not be due until August, so you are ahead of the November
We
election.
kept that to move forward in terms of looking.
That doesn't require a vote.
No.
Well, there is some confusion because I got my voter card in the mail that tells me I'm going to the Highly Center.
Exactly, me too.
Because we changed from back to the McCumber building, and everybody that votes there got an election card telling me that my election place for the city of Lincoln is the Highly Center, which is wrong.
I think they did,
Because the only people that got those were the people that it changed from the church to the Sunday. So every time they change an address or a voting poll, everybody in that area gets,
The state automatically sends those out.
I've never been in a change. I've always been.
the main place.
I see.
Yeah, the main place, came to the main poll, and then the church to.
The
motion.
I'm sorry.
So, I got a motion by Ms. Underwood, I got a second by Mr. Blackwell, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We get into, mayor and council comments. Mr. Scott, you got anything?
No. Very good thing, probably. Is it the city?
Yes, sir.
But I'm happy on it.
Yeah. Well, I have you a book and I have Mr. Blackwell's book so that y'all can, it was like word for word. So, but we had a great turnout, and it was good talking to a lot of people afterward.
Well, especially, I'm sorry, not my turn. Especially, focusing on finances, because I'm tired of hearing people say, we're spending all the money. We're not spending all the money. So,
Adolph still finding it all.
Yeah, she's finding it.
we're doing necessary stuff.
And,
Because what we spend it in the budget.
Mr. Miller, you got anything?
First of all, outstanding state of the city, not state as I was saying. Very pleased with that, heard a lot of good things, but a couple things I want to bring up. The
throughout the city. And I'm going to have it, try to get it on the next council meeting, to make some speed limit changes on some of the streets we have. Our city, as you stated in the state of the city, is we need to slow down as we get to the city. And, Miss Mona and I are on Fort Howard 16 times a day, it seems like, and it is just absolutely ridiculous, some of the traffic patterns that I'm starting to see. And we hear sirens every single night. And I mean, I pray every time I hear a siren for our police and our fire department, because it's just ridiculous. So please, I'm begging you as a community, slow down. I'm going to try to help take measures to get us to slow down. The second thing is, I'm asking our signage for Patriot Park. I've asked this. I'm no longer the new guy. I've been training. You're going to start seeing more of me and hearing more of me. We have a beautiful park up there. People don't even know where it's at because we have a blue sign that says Rincon City Tennis Courts. We need a sign in there that says Patriot Park and show that thing off.
It's in the process right now. DJ's working on the sign. He's
Okay,
got it
good.
designing it. And I got two different, I know, Ms. Michelle asked about the sign about a month ago. So DJ's getting that design, but also, I forget who came to me wanting street signs down.
Kevin and I talked, and we talked about that too. State street signs.
Yes.
The park display, all of this, all
That's what we have. We have a sign there that states, public golf course this way.
But after Councilwoman Michelle asked me that, I got with DJ, so that's in the works right now. The street signs, I will get done.
Does he have an ETA to get that back to you? Deadline, a date? A date.
DJ, got the design, the big one for the 21.
Whose day?
I think he went to the other.
I know it was Gervaisi.
I don't think he's done. I think
Edwards.
Edwards.
Because Edwards is who's doing the.
Doug
paving.
or
I thought,
Terry Crawford.
I think he was the partner for the, Patriot Park.
Southern Signs and Signs, they're right there.
Yes.
They're right there too.
So here's the way I see it, If she asked for it a month ago, he's working on it with they, and we don't have a date, that's a problem. Within a month's time, we should know when we're getting that back.
I'll find out in the morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But I would like the public street sign for all of our parks. Giles Park, Freedom Park,
Right.
all of them. So people know. Yeah,
He might have to go through GDOT on 21,
yeah.
and that's where most of them are gonna be, so.
And also about speed limits. Speed limits on roads within the city, even if we own those roads within the city, has to go through a process, because you can't you can't just change the speed limits. If you're gonna run radar on those roads, you gotta go through, so we need to get with EMC. That has to go through the state to come back to us.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's a time period there that we put a sign out that says, hey, speed limit changing X or whatever. And Kim and I talked about that. We just, when we were talking about it, Ben and I talked about it, and I know we really hadn't said a whole lot to you because this started back before you, but it's been like stalled. And it's something that we just keep asking for. And I know, Robbie, you and I talked in Atlanta and after Atlanta about meeting with Brad, with GDOT, and talking about 21, because if the city wants to slow traffic down, they need to listen to what we got to say. I mean, if we need to slow traffic down when we get just past this sign right here, it needs to slow down, and we need to tell them why. And the whole with Russell telling me in Atlanta, the first thing that Russell said was, hey, I want to make sure that you guys are pulling people over. Well, we're going to pull people over. Okay. For speeding. We're going to pull people over that are speeding. We're asking you to change to speed.
I want to pull 18 over that are in the left lane. Like that was one of the first things that brought up out of the gate in January It's the left-hand lane. Truck should not be in the-
I mean, right,
And I know the county chairman met.
And I don't know why that's still a thing.
yeah.
Also.
It's the same thing.
Coming in from Fort Wentworth, I drive it every morning and let them.
We can also have, I'm looking to ramp this up. Chief, I'll ask you, are you staffed accordingly to handle more citations? And.
So I'm wondering, at the state of the city, what, you guys issued a third of the tickets against the, you had double the number of warnings than you did tickets. So I would say they're pretty well staffed. They're making the polls.
Well, and I think I owe the courtesy to ask him, because if we say we're gonna start doing this and he's short 6 people, then, that's something we need to take it.
Thing is, for him, is we're not covering any more area. We're covering the same area. I mean, if you got a guy that sits out there 3 times a week or whatever, he's still gonna sit out there 3 times a week. The only thing is we're gonna expect to slow them down.
So we look at this one.
Right.
We've got the city.
That's right.
And if you want us to, 121, we will work on some spirits. The problem is all the crime takes place on the side street and in the neighborhoods. And so we reinforce that to our guys consistently with, y'all stay on. And it's going to do your thing on 21, but also get off in your neighborhoods and your businesses and check those. That's part of the control.
One more thing, and this is serious, Effingham County has the highest mortality rate of students, not kids. These side streets, these kids know these streets, they're fine. So, and the one,
Yeah.
that's something we.
Highest mortality rate in the state, highest mortality.
We have a lot more teen accidents than
Than Chatham County?
It is, it's in the county. We have very few here in the city. We have crashes, but that goes to people.
Well, and
For those people with that, the severity of the crashes. And that's why, that's a lot of the reasons why we have those numbers, fatalities.
Traffic is thicker.
That's the point that Mr. Milner's making is, when you try to pull out of the neighborhood off of Fort Howard, and traffic is, and the speed limit's 45, they're really 1 in 50 to 50. So when you got that, it's hard to, and we talked about this the other day about getting in the middle lane is really not the right thing to do. So, trying to get out across those lanes of traffic is tough when traffic's moving that fast. And, I think if we're gonna look for.
Everything finished.
That's right.
And Fort Howard just
Who's their DOT representative?
Talk Brad Saxon.
Can he come and we want him to come.
Yeah.
You want to talk to him?
He is not your representative. He is second. He's on.
Of all of you.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. That's even better.
That's where we need to head. We need to have conversation with people like that. And I will say that I ran into Mark, can't think of Mark's last name, he's on council in Fort Wentworth. And we also talked to the city manager there the other day, and they're interested in sitting down with you guys and meeting with you and talking to you about making sure that they're doing the same things there. Because if you're talking about traffic and you're talking about slowing things down, or you're talking about writing tickets to trucks that's in the left-hand lane, if it starts there, then maybe some of that patrolling can be shared. Because if they know in Port Wentworth that they're gonna get busted there, they're already getting over. And then by the time they get into our city, they know that it's coming here. So I think everything that we have to do in conjunction with them, or it just really don't work when it comes to, traffic situations.
That they have.
It is. It is.
So why are
If we can get,
doing,
you're gonna get some volunteers. If we can get the signs out, that will give us some voluntary.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, but can we not do something to crack down on it, announce it on our, I mean, just like the people parking on the streets, we announced that on our, Facebook page.
And since.
And said we're gonna start
Yeah.
enforcing that, it's already on the books. Can we not do that? Huh? I mean, now, I'm just tired of 18 living in a family, like,
I don't think it's gonna get there.
Yeah.
The ability to enforce it. Yeah, I think this, like what you said, the signs, I think if you pull a few people over, I think if you
Where to get out.
if
they
you get,
talk to each other.
if you get the signs up there.
Think we have CB. I ain't even lying.
Is there some way we could get for the, state transportation enforcement along our highways here in Lincoln, or? I see something.
We're gonna get a job.
Are you,
Primarily.
go ahead.
The only other thing, and we can talk about this a lot, so, jobs,
Okay.
but that can be a long. Pete, thank you.
Several things. First, night street lights, I guess we're working on those.
Giving me time yet, the lights are in. I actually called him 2 weeks ago, Keith Road and Georgia Power, the LED lights are in, the change out's supposed to start. They said they're going to start it in neighborhoods, but they're going to change out. What their plan is to change them out down Ninth Street, then evaluate them, and based off the lumens, where they're going to put the new ones.
Okay, and then what about the ballpark lights?
Ballpark lights also.
Okay, and then, can you just, because you and I have talked, just for everyone else's, knowledge, could you share a little bit about the GDOT meeting you had in Atlanta? We came on back and y'all met with GDOT. I know you told me what you told me, but.
It was really a county meeting. So, I mean, I felt like a third wheel sitting there, so.
Right,
Sound
but next time, we're not gonna join with the county. We're gonna have our own meeting with GDOT.
Well, and that's why our meeting needs to be with Brad here locally,
Yeah.
and have a conversation
Yeah.
with him.
Because we can get Brad in here, we don't have to go to Atlanta to see him.
Right. Yeah, and I think we put too much on, to me, and I mean, I hate to say this in here, but it's a photo op. We need them here to sit down and discuss real life stuff that's happening in Rankin.
Exactly.
And all those guys work for us, for our community. So I think getting them here for that and maybe stop trying to, get them during the photo op down there, is what we need to do. Because I felt like that question and answer thing was just people blurting out stuff. I want it to be more based off of what we want to talk
Correct.
about there.
Then EOM is doing a great job on the streets. I've noticed that the intersection there at the street, some of that area still got grass in it on the curbs. So they go those major intersections.
CUM.
Okay, so major intersections. And make sure those are clean to listen. I'm gonna call, Jamie Deloach in the morning because I went to Pooler with the boys today. And boy, our curbs all the way to Chimney Road look sharp, and then you see the county's curves. I'm like, Jamie, our curbs look better than your curbs.
Because I take care of the
So be careful about the phone call.
Of the highway,
Building
Cleaning.
area.
that'd be DJ.
Okay, well, we need to have a chat.
Okay, so the other thing is, and this one's to do with planning and stuff, and I've already talked to Terry about this and Robbie. We've worked over we started, I know, when I was on zoning and planning in 2022 and started pushing for a company to come in and, get a consultant to come in and do real codes and ordinances. And there's been 2 hard years of hard work and the codes and ordinances are done. We had a workshop a few weeks ago. Council laid out their vision. We've met with GMC and GMC has the visions for the renderings. But the next step in this now, because we've done what we need to do. Now the next step is a directive to zone and planning to put a master plan in place for the city. And no matter what workshop you sit in, what conference I've been in, the ones we were in Statesboro in, the ones in Atlanta, the MPO, everybody is a 25-year plan. And we need a master plan design for the city of Rankin through 2050. Now, that's going to be tweaked every 5 years, and that's what everyone else does too. But we need that plan in place. And the only thing we can do at this point now is hand it over. And I don't know if we need to do that as a directive or a vote, and allow Terry and then the latitude to see what it's going to take to put that master plan in place and what all they need to do, because now it's kind of handed over to them. It's their job now. So, and I talked to Terry and she goes, well, really, I need a directive from council now to do this. So that's what I'm asking now.
I agree, Mona. That class that we went to was incredible.
It was.
And they, if you don't have a plan, everything goes stagnant. So, and each council, if we're not on here, the next council can add to or take away what the public wants. I mean, it goes with it. So we need to have a plan.
Yeah, we're not locking anybody in. If another thinks they're coming in, they can change.
We're laying out a better city, and we're showing our city to always expect and anticipate a plan. So in 8 years, there's not a council here again, there's no plan, or anything. So this kind of sets the bar a little higher for those coming behind us, and they have the latitude with this to change it. It's not set in stone, but it's laid out pretty well, and I think we've set a good vision, so. And then one last thing, Saturday was a week ago, our family had some tragedy, and we lost our brother-in-law, and unfortunately, my niece went by to check on her dad and found him passed away over on Montweiler Avenue. And I just want to say the Rankin police were just exemplary. Their love and their tenderness in such an awful situation was just wonderful. Even one of the officers that grew up with my niece, when she was able to come by, came by and just hugged everybody, and it just reminds me how special it is to live in this community. So thank them for us.
I also want to add that, I've been hearing a lot of spending, but I also want the community to know there has been a major focus on controlling costs. And our Director of Finance, Ms. Halasa, she has found numerous cost savings, our IT person. So kudos, Mr. City Manager, Robbie, to you and your crew for finding savings throughout the city as well. Thank you.
Hey, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I hire people smarter than me. That's a big.
Yes, right. It's called resourceful. And that's what I am. I love it.
Oh, yeah, I was going to concur with Mr. Milner about the speed limits that we've been talking, the mayor and I have been talking about it, and so we need to get rolling on that, especially for 4 hours, because the traffic was ramping up daily now. The traffic's just coming in from North Effingham to go down to work there, and by the North Augusta bypass too. So it's getting really bad trying to pull out there. Also to mention that if you look on our seal, we were founded in 1927. That's 2 years away. That'll be our big 100th anniversary. So we need to start planning for some grand event to celebrate our founding. Whether we're on here or not, we need to start planning for that. It's in 2 years and it's going to take a lot of work. So I thought I'd bring that up. The other thing is that maybe directed to Mr. Byrd is our 25 ARPA report is due the end of April. Is that been completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. But I get notices all the time from the GMA about that. Make sure we got it done.
You tell GMA I said hello.
Keep us out of trouble. That's all I got.
I want to add one thing on picket fences. Today, we got we got the information back on the wetland delineation. I guess that's complete now. So they've approved that, the Corps has. So that's moving forward, and I think we got maybe one more Monday for our final set of signatures.
Yes, sir. And I'm actually proud to announce we got our first set of signatures in today
Yes.
from one of the entities. We expect another Thursday and 2 more by Friday. And once presumably we sign tonight or tomorrow, that'll just leave 1 that we're hunting down.
Yeah, and I want to publicly apologize for a private message. Bobo, I'm sorry.
Not needed.
It was a bad afternoon, and I just let him hear how I felt about this whole picket fences thing. And I think he knows I love those people in that neighborhood, and that's what we're fighting for. And it has took a lot of that. But I can tell you that the morning after, he told me what he was going to do, and it happened. And
I enjoyed the read.
yeah, and I wasn't shooting, firing at you. I just was firing at the situation. You just happened to be down range.
That's what lawyers are for, Mr. Mayor.
That's right. And I, told him that I didn't care if he was buddies with the guy who was on the other side, but I'll have enough of it. And
A nickname, Stick in the Mud.
yeah,
Well, stick got moving. Full report by noon the next day.
Thank you.
it was a great report, and it was exactly what we needed to hear. Also, I don't want you guys to forget about employee engagement. I think, Ms. Terry, we had that in there for April 17th. If I'm not mistaken, if you look at the community engagement. Yeah, yeah. And Mr. City Manager, just to let you know how that works. It's a great program. We show up in a community. We're trying to pick different areas of the city, like we talked about in the state of the city, and like myself and Mr. Scott talked about making the city a quadrant so that we give, the same amount of attention to everybody. And I think the next one was over Warrington or Hickory Knob. And basically what we do is Public Works, police, fire. We take all the directors from there, the department heads, recreation, and then we go out, and as many council members that can make it, and myself, you, staff, and basically what we do is we go out and we listen to what we try to give them one person in their community to speak, and then they kind of tell us what their issues are in their particular area. And now that I know that we've got that nice pretty van with the big windows in it, then council would get in with you, Mr. City Manager, with one of those people from that community.
Put you on the back of my truck.
Yeah. Basically what we do is put a Teams call together, and everybody following would be on that Teams call, and we would just ride through their neighborhood, and we would look at things like, vehicles that shouldn't be there, maybe traffic calming issues that they may have, maybe some speed limit signs, just different things that they want to talk about. And then we go back and then we ask like our code enforcement and all them, hey, what did you see? And then we give them feedback on what we've seen. And then we try to put something together like a 30, 60, 90, so that we can kind of report back to them and say, hey, this is where we're heading for your neighborhood or your area. So it's really good engagement.
It's Thursday.
Thursday is when we have it on the schedule. I remember the 17th. It needs to be in the afternoon so that we give people time. I think we were going to do it sometime around 4 o'clock, and that would.
We're on vacation.
We get knocked out, and like I said, even if it's just a couple council members or whatever, it don't have to be everybody. But just somebody showing up there, and but I think the 17th, and we were going to do it in the Warrington New Hickory Knob subdivision, that area next.
Okay.
And we also need to, Ms. Terry, last thing is bring Brad up to speed on what we found in picket fences.
Yes, I sent him once he started and kind of got settled, I sent him what we had done with that first community meeting. And a lot of it, he had actually already been on top of.
Yeah, because I think those stop signs there, if we can really put the traffic down on the main road, if we can just kind of get that going for them. That's all I got, Michelle.
I'm done.
I do have something. So in our last meeting, Mayor Exley, you mentioned the project task list being more transparent and that being on our website. If you go to our website and look, the transparency portal link is there. However, I don't know who's responsible for that project list, but it is not being updated online. It's not an accurate representation of where we are or what we're doing. It actually shows Veterans Park, I think, still in the bid process. It's absolutely not what we're presenting in our meetings here. If we're not consistent with what we're presenting to the public, we're not garnering trust with the citizens. So if we're gonna say that we have a transparency portal and we're gonna be transparent and it's gonna be on our website, anybody can access it. But that way, all the financial statements are up to date, accurate on that website. However, our project list and where we are with those projects is not being updated. It's very out of date.
So that's old.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what I told Terry a while ago, because we want to put that in here. So I don't know whether, see, Jody and Terry were kind of bouncing that back and forth, but I think Jody was doing the date changes on it and stuff like that every week. And then, you know, I told Terry, maybe we get somebody to make sure that, because she can't pull it up on hers and then show you the things that she needs to show council, you know, on the screen. So maybe Dulcia moving forward can be the one to put that information, to put the portal up here, so that we can see it.
I don't think that could be held in any other location than online, and y'all should project it from there. If you know your data is accurate, stop keeping it in two different places. Like, it's an easy fix. It should be kept where we're showing it to the public.
I just looked it up and
We're gonna show it in here. We should be showing it live time off of our.
from how we expect them to access it.
that page doesn't have a status on where it says updated as of 4/25/25. Whatever.
The new spreadsheet just makes. That's right. This is the old.
This is
It needs
because
to
I'm
be
looking
made-
at the old one there.
Well, the website, Rob Mark doing the new website. I can't give you a time when they're gonna be done. But
We know how to update
That'll
it,
be,
so.
somebody will be running.
And
that.
anytime we present it in this room to council, it should be coming from the website. That way we know we're all looking at.
It won't take anything to have Matt put it on the website more, because we got the, it's been up.
One last thing, so Robbie, on the master plan, you can just, I guess, just work with Terry to figure out how we're gonna get that going, and then whatever you guys need for approval from us, until y'all determine how to move forward, just come to us and then we'll approve that, but getting that master plan. And I wanted you to update everybody on the website. I know
Yes.
you,
Rob Mart, the contract's been signed, Rob Mart out of Savannah is doing the website. I don't have a time frame on it.
but they're working,
That's it.
which is great. We're changing our website so that it's easy to get around, make sure that the links are on there, so that'll be good.
One last thing, EOM was working on the, list of streets and the priorities of the streets we need to start working on repaving. Do we have any status update on that report?
I'll have to get with Kristen on that one.
Thought that already came back.
It's back. What they were going to do is, you guys were going to get, y'all, I guess y'all got that information from Doug, and we were gonna pick our 5 streets, and I know 9th Street was one of them, because we already doing that with the county. But then there was 4 more.
9th Street West with the county, 9th Street East, we're doing that.
So that,
Yes, it's got to be back to BOM. We had that line. BOM gives us the list of the next street.
I'm East Side.
The size, I mean, the project that Chris is working on, but then I also paving with East Block.
If we could get a list of those and know when they are, when they're coming, that would be bad.
That should be in the project task list, okay?
we were waiting. Make sure that we're not, putting a bunch of stuff out there at the election, saying, hey, we're fixing roads. we can do it now. I'd rather do it now, and if we can get it done, then, so.
Who is responsible for our city website?
Was,
Who?
I think it was Aaron. Aaron.
Yeah. That's
Before
what I
Matt,
said.
Matt's been doing, Matt won't be responsible when you.
So-
I think your department heads will be able to, or certain people will be able to put things on. Do we have a need for executive session tonight? Oh, you do? Motion's in order?
Second.
We got a motion by Mr. Stroud, I got a second by Mr. Riley. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you guys for coming out, everybody.
That's more important, you say. Like, the full package. So it's a version. No. If you're gonna be an issue. Go get it. Oh, it's not supposed to be top. Oh, no. Get out. Oh.
Good night.
Good night, thank you.